Alright, now we're in Substance Painter. This will not be a thorough introduction to this software. We'll simply bring our SciFi container in here and reap the benefit of the detail that we already have created, and which will enable us to make use of these smart materials. So we're actually going to bake a new normal map here in Substance Painter. So if I click New Project, we could also import the low-res mesh right here, which I'm going to do. So this would be our container low. Now we have the low poly mesh. I'm going to set the document resolution to 4K. And here we could import the already created normal map. And Substance Painter would be able to actually use that normal map and create a curvature map and an ambient occlusion, which it then uses to generate the smart materials. But I think it's a bit better to actually do also the normal map baking within Substance Painter, so that's what I'm going to do. So just hit OK. Alright, so there we have the OBJ imported. I'm going to click here, Bake Textures. Under Common Parameters, just going to set this to 4K, and here, High Definition Meshes. So we're going to be able to go and select our... I renamed this to Container High. That was the one that was about 6 million polys or something that we exported out of ZBrush. Okay, so now that's in there. And here we do have, again, surge distance. I will also in here actually increase this a bit. So let's set this to 0.1 or something. Yeah, I'll do that. And might as well just increase the frontal distance too. And this is fine for this. Alright, and then we don't need all of these other maps. These are, so the world space, that's okay. We don't really need an ID map. Ambient occlusion, curvature, position. I guess we could do that. Thickness we don't really need. This would be more for subsurface scattering and things like that. So here, okay, so that's fine. These maps are not to be exported anyhow. They're just internal, and it's the way that Substance will drive these other smart materials here in a minute. Alright, so let's just try Bake Material Textures. So that took maybe a couple minutes. And here we see the low poly object with the normal map. And this is a very, very, very good bake. We do have, again, just a little bit of that artifacting here, but it's mainly due, I think, to the way we sculpted this little piece and the initial topology there. But the bake looks great. Okay, so we can hold Shift and just right mouse button to rotate around the light source. And if we want to toggle now and see the different maps, we can hold B. This is the normal map. Here we have that world space normal, ambient occlusion. See, did a very, very, very nice occlusion map, ambient occlusion map based on the normals. And a curvature map. That's the world space. Okay, great. And press M for material. So now, without further ado, they're just in here. That's fine. And we're going to go down here to Smart Materials. And this is where the fun begins. So we can try to, middle mouse button, just drag this steel painted, for instance. And right away, we see something very, very interesting. So we have a coat, like a paint layer with very different material properties from an underlying base material, which is a metal. We can reveal here how this works. So here we just have a paint layer on top. This is not just a color layer. This is actually separate material settings. So here we have a certain roughness value, different from the base color. So here I can hide the color layer to reveal the underlying steel. And then it adds some little decals. I don't know if I like those or not. Maybe I can try to uncheck them. So, and here, this paint layer is being controlled, if I click here, by a mask, which is actually a smart mask. I can click here, and this smart mask then makes use of all these different maps, the curvature map and so forth, to drive this effect and to be able to place this chipped effect at all these contact areas, the corners, the kind of edge detection there. So here we have a global balance. If I turn that all the way down, so now I'm in that smart mask. See, I turn it all the way down, no effect, and I can gradually just increase that. Very subtle, or keep increasing that to reveal more. So that's pretty cool. And then we can also, here now, actually, if I go add paint, I'm able to, now on a normal paintbrush, here I see the color which is selected. If I start painting, I can also remove like this based on this additional paint layer. Or if I invert this color here to white, paintbrush, I can remove. So if I want to gradually remove that effect, maybe some instances where it's less successful. Very, very powerful system. And then if I wanted to, I could, for instance, reveal, so you can hold Control, right click to alter the brush size. I could remove the paint. Here I need to, for instance, on the bolts. If I press F1, I'm also able to paint here directly on the UV. So yeah, let me not spend too much time there. And it also maybe in here, inside this little panel, I could just remove, if you hold Shift. So actually, if you just tap the pen, then hold Shift, it will start dragging that straight line. And then push the brush down. It will do that hard line. And then just maybe there could be some of these areas that are, I don't know, I think I'll just remove the paint in this case. There we go. Yeah, I could spend more time like figuring out the details in there, but I will not. And then F1, see, sorry, F2. All right. So you see how very quickly we can generate something that's already using our all these details that we already have here to quickly create something very, very interesting. I'm just going to do one more little thing here. You can add a just a fill layer. I'm going to change the fill layer just to like a black color. And here, instead of using the smart materials, we can also use the smart masks. And these are kind of the same principle that smart materials would work. But here we can do, see here it's like a cavity rust it's called, but it is like a cavity mask. So if I apply that, you'll see now I'm adding that fill layer into all these little cavities of the model. Incredibly interesting effect. And if I go down here to have control over that smart mask, again I can dial down, for instance, this global balance, and just to have a bit more subtle effect. So now if I turn it on and off, you'll see kind of the difference it makes to really make these details kind of stand out, sort of getting closer to what we talked about earlier about weathering and cavity, making kind of cavities stand out. So, alright. We also have some blur. It's a bit much. Maybe a little bit. And then also here I could do like add paint if I wanted to go in and just control right click small brush, and I could do have some very, actually this is also pretty cool, like we have a physical paint brush and I can now enable some let's see, the particles, and we'll do some leaks. So that's a really cool effect. Let me undo that. So I can keep it pretty subtle though, right? So if I don't know where this would be leaking from. Maybe in here. Down here. Cool thing also that we can go to F1, and I can actually do this on the paint on the UVs here. So you will still follow the gravity in the right direction. So it's using kind of a physics system here built into the brush. If I click here, physics, you do have some more settings over that. That's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll add some like in here as well. Make this internal machinery a bit more dirty. I can increase the brush size a bit. That's pretty cool. Alright. So that's actually adding a paint layer to remove or add to the mask here. So let's go down to the paint layer itself. This is a fill layer, so I can click the paint. I could alter the color, of course, if I want. Just very quickly. Alter globally that color. Alright, let's try that. And then I'm also able to, here on the actual paint layer, in this case not on its mask, but on the paint itself, right click and add paint here. And then on the, select the paintbrush. And here in the paintbrush though, I only want to paint color, so I don't want to paint height, or I don't want to influence the height or the roughness map, or the normal map, nor the metal. And here I'm able to select a color, so we can sample this guy, and then we'll do just try something very quickly. So here I'm painting directly on, just on this paint layer, only affecting that specific color. And yeah, I really like that one. Anyways, I'm gonna try not to get carried away with this. can see, really quite powerful way of just quickly being able to try things out here. Alright, and also if I press F1, I could go in here and paint again directly on the UVs. And again, I can hold, just press the pen down, hold shift. And press once, let go, and hold shift. So you press once, hold shift, and drag, and then press the pen down to do the actual stroke. Alright, that's at least adding a little bit of interest there. So, yeah, I will not spend any more time. Maybe that panel has been replaced or something. Okay. And then, also, of course, if I wanted now to remove the paint, I go back not on the paint layer, but on the mask. And here I have a paint layer. And now I'm not painting colors, but I'm either painting like black or white or grayscale values to either gradually remove this paint. So I get to do just black color if I want to remove the paint here. That's what I'm going to try to do. So hold control, right click. I'm going to remove that paint from this entire area. Maybe this is some exposed metal down there. And also from here, then let's say press yep, F1. And that would be these guys. I'm just gonna let's undo that. Actually, not. Maybe just the bottom one. That's interesting. And this is the other way around for no good reason. Okay. All right. That's kind of interesting. So F2. All right. That's going to have to cut it for me here and see. Save as. And I also have this in the data directory. Let me now just upversion this. So I have the Substance Painter files and the ZBrush files all in the data directory of my Maya project folder. Alright, so we're about to export the textures out of here, but there's one little thing I want to add. So some emissive element. Let's just try to, yeah, maybe these arrows, could try to make them some sort of warning lights or something. Let's see. To do that though, we need to go to our texture set settings. Here under channels, we're going to add another channel. So we're doing emissive. And now let's add a fill layer. Yep, not in there though. Let's see. Select the top one and then click there. Add a fill layer. And for this layer, we don't want anything except the emissive channel here. And we can select the color. And then I'm going to fill this with a black mask, which would make it just invisible. And then whenever I start painting now with the white color, I will be revealing that emissive channel, or that emissive layer. So let's just go to F1 and not overthink it. We'll just do arrows. So I'm holding shift real quick there. And then I also want to move any influence from this paint layer away from these arrows actually. Oh, okay, I need to be on that paint layer. There we go. All right. So we're creating some small lamps here. Little lights. Okay. F2. And so those should be emissive now, which means they're kind of self-illuminating little light sources. So if we were to go to views, viewer settings, we could do environment exposure. So if we turn down, literally turn down the lights here, see those elements still remain lit. That could be a neat little feature. Let's say you want to add some animations to these, so to this emissive layer eventually. So, you know, we could have like a green status or a red one, depending on it's, yeah, whatever. So, okay, viewer settings. So, let's just get these maps out of here now, so that will include one little simple emissive map, which would just be those 4 little elements. And export textures, set the path. This is now going to my Maya project source images, that's fine. PBR, metal rough workflow, okay, and hit export. There we go. It's a very quick. I'm going to look at, we have a base color, we have the emissive map, we have, did it really, probably just can't see them because they're so small. Yeah, so here we have the, that's literally it for the emissive map. And we have a height map, which, yeah, we'll see. Might be able to apply that. We have a metallic map and a new normal map, including kind of micro detail from the paint where it's like chipped away, and a roughness map. So let's, I'm very curious now to apply this to the 3D model on Sketchfab. So let's go to our 3D settings. And I will also replace the, let's go to material, the normal map, because we do have a new normal map now. So let's see. We'll import this guy. And select it. So you see we have, yeah, there's more kind of this micro detail on there. And see, flip green or not? That's the question. And yes, it seems like this time we do flip the green channel here. Again, we're being analytical, looking at the way these shadows fall. So if I don't flip green, you can see, yeah, this seems like the shadow is on the wrong side, right? And then that looks more correct. Yep. And then, all right, so let's get the other textures in here. So we'll have, we have a color now. Let's see, texture, manage textures, import, base color. There we go. And we'll do metal. Metallic. So the metallic map is just purely black or purely white. So it's just where is it metal and where is it not, literally. So do that. Okay, and we have a roughness map. There we go. And we have an emissive map. Emission. Let's see. Texture, manage textures. Import. Emissive. There we go. Nice. Coming together nicely. And we do have that height map, but I don't think it's necessary here. Let's see. We would go under displacement. Let's see. Height. Let's see. Yeah. Usually I would do a more thorough displacement map if I were to have one. But alright, so quite predictable result here. Just gonna see, we have a little artifact here, shadows. It's not a problem with our model. See, we can go lighting and shadow bias. Try to increase that a bit. Okay. And of course, you could should try to import this, to Unity or Unreal or anything if you're kind of interested in that, and apply these maps to any PBR material with the metallic roughness workflow. So, all right, save. And I leave it to you then to experiment with Substance. Try to get this loaded in Sketchfab. So now I can also, of course, toggle wireframe. Now I see a pretty big difference going from the gray material to the final render. That's it.